moving on, we still have one guy, and this is probably the most talked about player in all of high school sports, maybe even in just amateur sports, period. But Bronny James still has not committed to a school. And we haven't heard of he's probably going to go here, or, he's probably going to, we haven't really heard any serious, rumors that have like real validity behind him. Like, he's still just a question mark.
Yeah, the crystal ball is still pretty murky right now.
Nobody knows where this kid is going to go except for him. And we may not know until as late as March. So I just kind of want to play a little what if. Where would we like to see Bronny go here at League Bound?
This one's obvious for me, but I want to hear you guys first.
Well, you could go two different ways here, because obviously with us here at UNL, getting Bronny to a Big Ten school like Ohio State would be very entertaining, just so that we could get to see him live and get a little bit of good coverage here on the show. But personally, I think it would be really fun if he does go to Memphis to follow along with Mikey Williams and kind of reconnect that blue, what was it, Blue Chips or
Blue Chips,
or AAU team. Kind of, that's almost where Mikey Williams got his fame started up, by putting huge numbers up with Bronny James. So that would be almost poetic to see them come together again.
I was going to say, for storylines and like a narrative purpose, I would love to see that, just to see those guys reunite. I remember watching their mixtapes back in the day, and seeing Mikey ball out was fun. And I would love to see them, just bring back some childhood nostalgia. But I think an important thing is, I don't know like what this would mean in terms of his college selection, but he actually signed a NIL deal with Nike. And I think one thing to note is that Mikey had that deal with Puma, but Puma doesn't have any, they don't have any like D1 colleges that are with Puma. So I think he could just kind of go wherever. But Bronny, and Nike's obviously one of like the biggest college sponsors in terms of apparel. Mm-hmm. So I think since he has this deal with Nike, he may be a little bit limited in theory in where he wants to go play in terms of college. So I think that could be something. But other than that, we still have no leads. So,
and at the from 247 Sports, he is listed he's ranked 44th, I think. Nationally 44th. And from 44 up, he's pretty much one of like 5 people who haven't committed so far.
And you have to wonder why, like, a top 50 prospect only knowingly having offers from a couple of schools. It's kind of strange. Like,
and with the caliber of Bronny James, I mean, he's gonna make your school money just by attendance numbers.
Like, I mean, there's been players who are way lower ranked that have almost double-digit offers from D1 schools. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of strange. You have to imagine it's more of the off-the-court stuff that schools are looking at. Not anything bad, obviously, but just bringing in that type of personality to your university. It's kind of a dated mindset, in my opinion, but still going on today. I
think too, it's just interesting that, because he's the type of player where I feel like he has a lot of hype, but he's not a guy who's gonna hog the ball. Like, he's a smart basketball player. That's like one of the things that has him as high as he is. And so I think that more schools aren't looking at a player with such a high basketball IQ and just plays the game the right way. Especially when you look at in terms of the NCAA, it is a little bit baffling to me. And I'm wondering if maybe they probably know something that we don't, quite frankly. But it makes me think, like, man, is he just set on the G League and he hasn't finalized anything? Mm-hmm. But I'm interested to see where he goes. And I'm hoping that as the season goes on, we see him get a little bit more offers, because I really want this to spice up, just so we can talk about it.
Yeah, I know. Did you have something?
No, you go ahead.
So, I mean, I haven't said. Did you say you wanted to see him go to Memphis too?
Memphis or Ohio State, I think, would be.
So, I do really like the Memphis narrative, but the selfish person in me really wants to see that man play in person. Oh. And as students of the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, that means he would come to Lincoln, Nebraska, in the middle of nowhere. But he would come here, and we would go probably 3-4 hours early to go see him.
And you can't forget, it does say here that USC is also on the list, which USC is coming to the Big Ten pretty soon as well.
Yeah,
so.
Pretty soon. I don't think they'll be here by the time Bronny's in and out, because he'll easily be a one and done, right?
There's some debate, because people all across the board think differently, but I think a lot of scouts think that he might be a 2-year guy, just because he's someone who he comes his first year, he might not play that much, just because the way the rotations work, and like when he comes to college, most of the people on that roster will probably be better than him his first year. But I don't think he'll be a 4-year guy, but 2 or 3 is where I see him. So I think if he goes to USC or UCLA, because I think UCLA, they haven't offered him, but they have shown interest. And he has some teammates who've played there or are playing there right now, like Amari Bailey, and there's one other guy. But if he goes to USC or UCLA, those would still be opportunities for us to see him play.
Yeah, and there's been other guys who are in that kind of 50-ish ranked player. I just remember someone like Lester Quinones, who initially committed to Memphis a couple of years ago. I think he's actually now playing with Ignite. I want to say I saw him playing there, but he was one of these kind of top 50 players, potential to go one and done, and ended up not really going like the way he thought. So you never really know with these guys. I mean, we see guys who are not even ranked in the top 100 go rise up in college and have really good careers. I think, was Ochai even a top 100 player?
No,
I don't think so.
He was a 3-star.
Yeah.
Same with Christian Brown. So
It's all over the place.
And yeah, you see that a 2-year option, I mean, is LeBron. Because we know, and if you haven't heard it before, and if I'm correct, I could be completely spitballing off rumors, but I'm pretty sure LeBron said something that he wants to retire, or he wants, wherever Bronny goes, he wants to go there and play like a season or 2 before he retires with his son. And I think that alone probably rises his draft stock as well. But also, with that in mind, would he take a 2-year option? I mean, I guess it's his interest, not his dad's. And I'm assuming LeBron would probably let his son choose what he wants to do. But
knowing LeBron, he's waited this long. I feel like he'll be able to, and especially with the way he hasn't like fallen off.
He hasn't regressed really.
Yeah, I think he'll be able to like.
He's adapted to his age.
Yeah, so. I think he'll be able to. And like, too, I feel like LeBron, like just from what I've seen, and like all the social media and stuff, he seems like he wants Bronny to come to the league, but I feel like he wouldn't want him to do it at the expense of his development, if that makes sense. Like have him go in too early and miss out on.
Because LeBron's smart too, and he wants the best for his kids. So,
and like I said, like I don't think Bronny's going to be playing all 4 years of college, but I think I don't know if he'll be a one and done, quite frankly.
Interesting.
And one thing that could kind of fast track Bronny to the NBA is more likely than not, he'll probably sign with Rich Paul and Clutch Sports, who has a lot of connections in the NBA built up over the years because of LeBron. So some of those connections could go deep enough to get Bronny in the one and done type of scenario.
And let me entertain one more idea, because I don't think we talked about it yet, but let me hear about G League, because that's also a possibility. Has he gotten offered by the G League yet?
I'm sure they've I don't know if they like publicly.
Yeah, I don't think it gets publicly.
They're not publicly.
I'm sure, like they're going after him.
Yeah,
like without a doubt.
I also don't even think the G League Ignite has like recruitment letters. I think it's almost more of a mutual. It's basically like a contract signing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if Bronny wants to go to the G League Ignite, they're gonna sign him, because the whole point of that team is to develop players. So, I mean, they're not going to just disregard Bronny.
And not only that, but like that's fantastic marketing for a still relatively new and growing organization. So they would totally take him. But whether he wants to go is up to the question. But I mean, yeah, it's heated debate here with Bronny James on really where he'll go. I mean, we'd like to see him go to Ohio State. We'd like to see him go to Memphis, but
Before we
he could
go,
really go anywhere. No one really knows.
before we leave this segment, I'm looking at On3 Sports, which is part of like their rankings. They put people's NIL value. Isaiah Collier, the number one player, has a $560,000 NIL value, and Bronny at 41 has 7.5 million.
Wow.
And I would just like to leave that there.
Wow. Yeah. And I mean, do you think that's coming out of a local businesses' pockets, or do you think Nike's gonna, or like Nike or like a big brand like that would be like, hey, 7 million to go play for Ohio State or something like that?
It's probably factoring in both. I think his deal with Nike is like the one that he has now. I want to say is like 10 mil, and then which that doesn't really add up with the. But then it's probably got like some of the local businesses added in as well. So.
That's just so crazy to me.
Yeah, a lot of that has to do with how much reach he has in kind of a couple of different aspects. Like he's obviously big in basketball. I know a couple of years ago he was pretty big in like the video game realm. He was doing magazine
streaming?
covers.
Was he
with,
live
like,
streaming for a bit too?
Yeah,
I saw him doing an ad for God of War like a few weeks.
Oh
like,
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that, yep.
So that's just
So he's really all over the place. He's Patrick Mahomes-esque in all the commercials now.
Take LeBron out of the equation. What he's made already before he's gotten to college probably already has him set for life.
it's only a matter of time before he gets a Fortnite skin.
Oh yeah,
LeBron has one already, right? Or
I mean,
does
it's
he not have one?
Bronny. I'm talking about Bronny.
Oh, Bronny himself.
yeah. The LeBron does have one. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
all right. We're starting to get a little sidetracked here. So let's
are we
move
at? What
on
are we
to Jabari Smith.
32 minutes. Yeah. Let's
Jabari Smith